On a brand new installment of State Champs Esports, we wrap up our Esports Ohio coverage. Juarez also has some new games you should check out, and Joel paid a visit to the Northville High School esports team. We'll have all that and more. Welcome and thank you for joining us. We've got a lot to get to, so let me start by thanking Lawrence Tech and Hungry Howie's for their support of this show, our podcast Gamers Unlimited, and all of our tournaments. And speaking of tournaments, we're launching our first ever Valorant tournament this summer. So visit statechampsesports.net to register your team today. We are on our third and final week of Esports Ohio recaps. We kick things off with these highlights from their Super Smash Bros. Championships.
Forest Hills Pitt takes the first stock. He's going for the gimp on Lucas here, but Nerlod, showing his knowledge of Lucas, is able to up B into the stage to give himself a bit of stun lag and up B again back on the stage. In the second set, Lucas gets knocked down, tries to get back to the stage while getting shot at, but Pitt is ready with a spike to win this first match, and it goes to Forest Hills. True to Donkey Kong fashion, we get to see Albany pull off this very cheese grab throw, using the stage just to execute Sephiroth. Switching to Mario, Cole Williams showcases some insane combos, ultimately winning match number 2. Going against Palutena with a heavy character is really tough, and you can really see how versatile her hits are. It's hard to get away from her when she has you in her grasp. In what everyone thought was going to be a Palutena win for sure, Ridley comes back with a decisively angled up B and with some proper edge guarding. Palutena moves fast, and her constant neutral airs would be enough to shake anyone's resolve, but Forest Hills Ridley stays patient and punches hard with an up smash, bringing Forest Hills to 2-1. Forest Hills Steve has Banjo on the ropes pretty much the whole match here. We see Albany's Gabe switches to Min Min in hopes of playing the range game, but to no avail, as Steve lays down some weird combos and using Min Min's comfortableness on stage to roll up from a save and throw out a game-winning smashing attack. A great side B edgeguard from Pirate Mithra, but Bowser's able to get up from underneath, fake a short hop into a down B, breaks the shield with a killing forward smash. Incredible on-the-spot thinking here from Albany's Elijah. Bowser is able to apply some pressure here with a stock lead and some light combos. Side being off the stage, and in the confusion, Pyra swings instead of grabbing the ledge, resulting in an SD for this round. After the second set, Albany switches to King K. Rool. This doesn't help much though, as Mithra's mobility, paired with the ability to swap to Pyra for a power heavy hit, with a real solid read here, gives Forest Hill the decisive win of 4-1.
Joel Graves here, and recently we visited Northville High School where we were able to observe their esports banquet. They were awarding their players varsity letters, which was amazing. Danielle and myself were able to hand out the awards that they won from our spring League of Legends series. I'm joined by Brandon Sadler, who is the captain and who does a lot of the esports stuff here. We just had the esports banquet. So what games do you play?
So I am on the Varsity League of Legends roster, but I actually originally was on the Smash roster. I was the main person who would compete, and I was actually picked up by Revenant Esports for Smash, and then I slowly made that transition to League of Legends, and so I've worked with both rosters, and I've been enjoying it. They're both very great.
So could you quickly talk about some of the achievements that you guys have had for your first year?
So we actually competed in Playverse, which is a league for Michigan MASSP, and we had top 8 qualifier rosters in both Rocket League and League of Legends for both our varsity rosters. And then in addition to that, we also competed in a lot of smaller tournaments, such as Eventide Esports tournaments, where we got a second place, the State Champs tournaments that were Spring 2021 held by LTU, and we got 2 seconds and a third place. And even our JV, they ended up getting 2 fourths and a third place.
What is the, the recruitment / rosters they've been here.
We made a Discord server for the club. We had an increase of over 100 members join that server. We went from only having 2 rosters to over 10 rosters, including JV. And then in addition to that, we finally actually had connections to create a middle school esports team for Northville and the smaller schools, in which we are now able to grow talent and also pull from them. And so we're very happy to know that not just do we have a future already here at Northville High School, but also coming from the middle school so we can keep it going strong. So next year is going to be really interesting because our club is mainly juniors currently, so next year we're all going to be seniors. And so I'm hoping for a lot of very great things, especially for our League of Legends roster, since we're all juniors and we were able to do very well this year. I'm hoping that next year can be like our massive year to try to do as much as we can and win as much as we can and have a lot of success. But then we also have a lot of other rosters that are younger. Our Rocket League team, who got top 8 in the entire state, were also like champion, and they're all sophomores and freshmen. I think right now our entire varsity roster is just freshmen. And then we also have our Rainbow Six Siege roster, which is all freshmen and sophomores, and they just got top 10 in the entire country in HSCL. So I'm hoping that after I graduate, they will not just be the ones that take over, but also show success in their own respective esports, and hopefully they can grow it. And because of the middle school, we hope that we can always be able to find players, and we think that we'll stay strong.
Hi, I'm Ethan Avery, and let's take a look at some Overwatch action from the Esports Ohio Overwatch Varsity State Championship between Oak Hills and Shaker Heights. First map, and Oak Hills look to take charge early.
They do go for the grab. We saw this play quite a bit last time. Gets the pin, does have the shatter, takes out Diana.
Oak Hills took map 1, but Shaker Heights would look to respond on map 2 behind some stellar Roadhog play.
Able to find 2. Candle just going insane here, able to rip through the team.
But Oak Hills would hold on in extra rounds, thanks in part to this moment.
As a huge Genji just slicing through the team. That was a really...
And then on Rialto, we'd see a spicy Nano Blade come out.
Going absolutely wild, slicing through everyone, does not care.
And despite a good effort from Shaker Heights, Oak Hills would come out victorious.
Now I'm joined by Haraz, who usually brings us a game review every week, but we took this week to look into what he's looking forward to for game releases this month. So Haraz, start us off with Chivalry 2.
Yeah, so Chivalry 2 is a game that I've been personally really excited for. It's been in development for a while. It was obviously the first game came out a while back, and then Mordhau came out, which is kind of a spin-off, different company, but essentially the way I tell people is think of it like Call of Duty, but medieval. It's first person, there's sword combat, axes, the whole 9 yards. But the coolest thing is it's all positional based. So if you move your controller to the right, you swing from the right, left, top, bottom. So you can really mess people up, and there's a really big competitive like dueling scene. And not to mention it's 64 people versus 64 people in like the big mode. So it gets pretty wild.
All right, excellent. And so now another one that came up is Guilty Gear Strive. Tell me about that.
Well, I'm going to be honest, a lot of these are ones that I've been really excited for. Guilty Gear Strive I've been really pumped for. I know, especially with all of our tournaments happening this month and next month, I'm sure a lot of the esports community will be happy about this. Guilty Gear Strive is one of the biggest fighting games. Guilty Gear in general is one of the biggest fighting games, like old school anime fighting games in a long time. A lot of tournaments around it. Guilty Gear Strive is made by Arc Systems, so this is like this super dynamic art style, really flashy, over-the-top stuff. And it's even before the game even came out during the beta, there was already a competitive scene, just even for the beta of the game.
Great. And then one that we did bring up on our podcast when we had our D&D talk with our producer Denver was D&D Dark Alliance is also finally coming this month.
I'm a huge fan of D&D. I think it's safe to say a lot of people here are. Dark Alliance is a game that I've played, like all the older versions, since I was younger, and like the new style they're going for is so cool, because the old ones was like over the top view and it was kind of distant, you don't really feel in there. The new one is a lot like Outriders, where it's third person, you're down in the battle. It's loot and shoot almost, but once again, it's fantasy, so there's skills, classes, and my favorite thing is I read a lot of the books when I was younger, so a lot of the lore and a lot of the characters are actually from the D&D universe. So There's a lot of cool Easter eggs and hidden stuff there for people to find if they know what to look for.
I might even also buy it myself.
Yes, please.
So you'll have one more person to play with. And last, I believe on our list for this month will be Scarlet Nexus.
Yes, now Scarlet Nexus, aside from having a really dope name, is a really cool looking game, but the whole gimmick behind it is it's a post-apocalyptic cyberpunk-ish kind of vibe, like kind of combined into one thing, where everything is this weird world and there's aliens and stuff, and then you are playing as two people. It's like action-based combat, it's all combos and stuff like that. But the weird gimmick they added was that you're like telekinetic. So you could like everything in the environment while you're fighting, in the middle of fighting, you can just grab like a bus and throw it at someone or something like that. So it's got some really gnarly looking combat and just really beautiful visuals. So I'm really excited to play that one.
I'm Alex Sweet, and I've got highlights from Esports Ohio Rocket League Tournament Championship.
In the first game, both teams start off with very aggressive gameplay. Both teams preventing the other team from scoring, putting pressure on the other.
Yeah, very good technical ability.
Milford breaks the stalemate with impressive aerial goal.
Not letting up the pressure. Oh wow, excellent shot. Milford takes the lead corner.
After the first goal, Milford gains momentum and gets his second goal rapidly.
Oh wow, never mind.
London playing very aggressively has Milford playing defensively.
Alright, well there's a shot for London. Put that on the board. Oh, no.
Oh, gets it past the...
But after a perfectly timed demo clearing the goal, Milford scores a third time. London then immediately follows up with a goal off the face-off. After letting in one goal, Milford goes on the attack, getting 2 more goals in the last 30 seconds, winning the first game 5-1.
Will they'll get the buzzer beater, wow.
In Game 2, we see Milford with yet again an amazing aerial goal, and London getting some help from a Milford player on their first goal of Game 2. Milford follows up with 2 back-to-back goals. London then manages to tie up the game with 30 seconds left. Milford is able to break London's defenses and get a 4th goal, taking Game 2. At the start of Game 3, the stream feed cuts out, but Milford is able to score 3 goals in under a minute. With 3 minutes left, Milford gets their 4th goal, making the game 4-0. Milford gets a very decisive victory in Game 3 with a final score 7-1. Going into Game 4, 1 away from match point.
Season, or maybe in the next spring season, we'll be able to have lands again.
I think at least in the fall there should be. I'm not...
Wow. I mean, look at Game 4. London is doing everything they can to keep Milford from scoring, but to no avail. Milford is able to get a 3-1 lead and hold it for the rest of the game, winning the game and match, becoming the Esports Ohio Rocket League Tournament champions.
The varsity esports team for Lawrence Tech continues to grow by leaps and bounds in their inaugural year. We recently chatted with one of their newest recruits.
I'm Colby Smith. I'm from Chivalry, Idaho. I was recruited for the LTU esports team. I'm going to be attending LTU and going for computer science and game development.
So I reached out to Colby on one of the recruiting sites, and I'm super excited for him to come here because he was one of the first few that I was really interested by his gameplay and his passion.
First off, Danielle seemed like a great coach. She seemed very nice and very excited for the esports program. But why I really chose LTU is the degree program. Other than just a computer science degree, it has an actual game design degree, which is what I actually wanted to do. So I never really thought, I could do this. I could play for a school or make video games. I always had different ideas, but as soon as I realized, I can go to school for this, I can follow my dreams, then that's what I wanted to do.
And then what really, really stuck out is after talking to him and him trying to start a program at his high school.
So in high school, I attempted to make one at my small little high school, about 150 for graduating class. We had it going, I got it approved. I was like the president, I guess, setting up all the meetings and whatnot. But as soon as we were getting it off the ground, getting funding, COVID just shut the whole thing down.
I think it was a perfect fit with starting a brand new program at LTU. I'm really excited that Colby got to visit and see the campus. I think that it, will really spark his passion for esports and it was exciting to get some of the team together to be able to meet in person and not just over Zoom or not just playing online.
That is it for this week. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me in the studio, and of course, I'd like to thank everyone for watching. Make sure to join us again next week. I think my mouth was completely open. Oh my God, that was the most intense high five. We really went for that.